You're listening to the Telltale Channel. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, don't forget to check out my Patreon. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Ryan Walters, the head of Oklahoma schools, tweets this out. Any suggestion that a device of mine was used to stream inappropriate content on the television set is categorically false. You know, when a MAGA superintendent of a state's schools tweets something like this, something went terribly wrong. I saw this tweet and I wanted to know what happened, so let's talk about it. Let me just read the rest of the tweet. As I lead the charge for a bold overhaul of education in Oklahoma, putting parents back in control, rejecting radical agendas, and demanding excellence, it's no surprise to face politically motivated attacks. Any suggestion that a device of mine was used to stream inappropriate content on the television set is categorically false. It wasn't false. I have no knowledge of what was on the TV screen during the alleged incident, and there's absolutely no truth to any implication of wrongdoing. There is. These falsehoods are the desperate tactics of a broken establishment afraid of real change. They aren't just attacking me, they're attacking the values of the Oklahomans who elected me to challenge the status quo. I could be wrong, but I think that he was elected by a board. He wasn't elected by Oklahomans. Anyway, aside from that, what he said here about like rejecting radical agendas and all that, he is one of the most extreme people in the United States, and I don't say that lightly. Certainly one of the most extreme politicians. He is a full-blown Christian nationalist that is out of his head and vile and evil. And we'll talk about that a little bit, but first let's talk about what happened. Okay, this is a Rolling Stone article on the subject. Oklahoma's Trump-loving, Bible-thumping superintendent faces adult entertainment probe. Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah, if you've heard of this story, he's the guy that wrote a very nuanced, specific order, I guess, as superintendent that basically commands the school districts, like all of Oklahoma schools, to purchase Trump Bibles. Couldn't be any other type. It had to be Trump ones. And he didn't say Trump specifically, but he said leather-bound with the Constitution and Declaration of Independence at the front of the Bible and all these other very specific things that only applied to Trumps. Anyway, that's him. So let's read this. An investigation is underway in Oklahoma after a television screen in the MAGA state school superintendent's office reportedly showed a video of nude women during an executive session of the State Board of Education on Thursday. Oop, just picked a whole bouquet of oopsie daisies, didn't he? The images reportedly appeared on a screen in the office of Ryan Walters, Oklahoma's far-right superintendent of public instruction. Walters previously told schools to teach the Bible and 10 Commandments, demanded students watch him pray for Donald Trump, and demanded is like an understatement, like forced students to watch him pray. It wasn't a demand. He was forcing them to. Forced students to watch him pray for Donald Trump, and I have that video, and named transphobe Chaya Raichik to a state education committee. He also tried to use state money to purchase Bibles for classrooms that matched the specifics of those marketed by the president and his family. As you might expect, Walters has led a crusade against adult entertainment in school libraries. Two members of the Oklahoma Board of Education said they were shocked at what they saw on the screen on Thursday. Quote, I was like, those are naked women, board member Becky Carson told the Oklahoman. And then I was like, no, wait a minute. Those aren't naked. Surely those aren't naked women. Something is playing a trick on my eye. Maybe they just have on tan bodysuits. This is just really bizarre. I saw them just walking across the screen and I'm like, no. I'm sorry, I even have to use the language, but I'm like, those are her nipples. And then I'm like, that's, okay, I can't use some of this language because of YouTube. That's hair. What in the world am I watching? I didn't want to watch any longer. Carson told Walters to turn off the video. I was so disturbed by it that I was like very loudly and boastfully, like I was a parent or a teacher. I said, "What is on your TV? What am I watching?" And he was like, "What? What are you talking about?" Oh, just imagine the scene for a moment with me. Oh my God, that's crazy. And he was like, "What? What are you talking about?" Like a kid that just got caught looking at magazines or something. He stood up and saw it. He made acknowledgement that he saw it, Carson said, according to Non-Doc Media, an Oklahoma news website. And I said, "Turn it off now." And he was like, "What is this? What is this?" Of course, yeah, okay, I bet. So he acknowledged it was inappropriate just by those words. And he was like, "I can't get it to turn off. I can't figure out how to turn it off." And I said, "Get it turned off." So he finally got it turned off. Okay. I would never find myself in this situation because I'm not a complete sack of that is absolutely worthless. But if I did find myself in that situation, I would have literally just pulled the TV right out of the wall. Like, I don't even care. It's so important to not play adult entertainment in front of boardrooms or children or whatever. Oh my God, dude. He was like, "I can't get it to turn off. I can't figure out how to turn it off." And I said, "Get it turned off." So he finally got it turned off, and that was the end of it. He didn't address it. He didn't apologize. Nothing was said. Oh my God, dude. Carson and board member Ryan Detheridge said the video looked retro and did not involve sexual intercourse. What? Retro video didn't involve. Okay, are you trying to tell me that you were just watching the Dukes of Hazzard or something, and the Dukes of Hazzard from like the 70s just have naked chicks walking around? You think that's what he was watching? The Dukes of Hazzard? Okay. Republican state president pro tempore Lonnie Paxton told Oklahoma Voice that the Office of Management and Enterprise Services is carrying out an investigation into the incident. Quote, "This is a bizarre and troubling situation that raises serious questions about the events and what took place during yesterday's executive session at the Oklahoma State Board of Education meeting," Paxton said in a statement. "The account made public by board members paint a strange, unsettling scene that demands clarity and transparency." So I could be mistaken, but I think that this is Ryan Walters' office and his TV and his phone connected to the TV, like airplaying it. And if I had to guess, I would say he didn't want to pick up his own phone to validate that that's where the signal was coming from. And that's why he didn't know how to turn it off. How do you turn it off without turning off the source? Wow, dude. I'm sorry. This is so deeply entertaining to me. I hope that there were no children there, in all seriousness. I hope it was just adults who can hold him responsible. Walters said the claims were a distraction. Yeah, a distraction, absolutely. "Some of these board members are blatantly dishonest and cannot hide their political agenda," Walters told KOKH Fox 25. "It's disappointing that they're more interested in creating distractions than getting work done for Oklahoma families." He is the biggest scumbag on planet Earth, dude, really. Oh my God. Walters' communications director, Quentin Hitchcock, calls the story a junk tabloid lie. Quote, "Regardless of if recent allegations are true, Oklahomans are in dire need of new leadership at the Oklahoma State Department of Education," Oklahoma's House Democratic leader Cindy Munson told KOK8 Fox 25. Let me tell you something about Ryan Walters, okay? Let me just pull this up real fast. Hold on. Okay, this is Ryan Walters. This is who he is. While this is happening in his school, this is a real picture from Oklahoma schools that he didn't address, by the way. Everybody else addressed it, but he pretended it didn't happen. 6 students standing in a line spelling out the N-word. And what was Ryan Walters doing rather than addressing this? Saying this.
And they actually prefer to push books like the Constitution and the Bible out of our schools while injecting books like Genderqueer and Flamer. It's outrageous.
It's just a lie. He's just completely fabricating this.
They are Marxists at their core. That is their fundamental principles in which that guides them.
Who is they? Are they in the room with us right now?
And we are tired of them intimidating teachers, fighting school choice, and fighting parents. And we are absolutely going to fight back here.
Here's another one. Check this out.
You get school board members that are more concerned with being woke
more concerned with these radical sexual revolutionaries and plugging them into schools than they are actual academics. And so what we've called on, I've been really clear, this principal should be fired immediately. We've already seen this principal has hired another drag queen.
Oh, yeah. This is when he claimed that there was a drag queen principal in one of the Oklahoma schools. But conveniently, he wouldn't name the person. He wouldn't tell us what school districts they were even in. Nobody ever identified a drag queen. He was just looking for a reason to hate somebody who's pointing. This is a distraction right here. You want to talk about distractions? And as I said, with the, students spelling out the N-word, complete radio silence on that. Literal fictitious nonsense. And that's all he talks about. Drag queen principles and everything. All the while, Oklahoma's ranking is between 47th and 48th place in core academic testing. They are ranked number, at best, 47 out of 50 states. And this is what he's focused on. Oh, that, and I guess pressing the power button on a TV during, board meetings or whatever. I guess he's focused on that too.
Work underneath him at the school.
Wow.
This has to be rooted out immediately.
We do always talk about how the left is infiltrating the schools. And I'm so glad that you said even in red states, because people, in places like Oklahoma may feel like they are immune to this. You have called for his dismissal. But
whose dismissal? Nobody's. There is no quote unquote drag queen in their schools.
The district is opposing you. They're dragging their high heels, so to speak. What can be done? What can you do, or what can the parents do?
Well, what we've done is we've been putting tremendous pressure on the school board, on the superintendent. Parents have been showing up at the school board meeting. This school board has to act immediately. We have moral
What school board? What school board?
turpitude clause in our teachers' contracts, because
I'm sorry. Yeah, I kind of cut it off there. He said we have a moral turpitude clause, i.e., you must be a moral religious person to work in Oklahoma schools. I think that's illegal, and I don't even know if there is such a thing in their contract. I don't know, but you can bet but you can bet if it's there, he's going to try to enforce his morality on you and everybody around you. Unless you're spelling the N-word, then he doesn't care.
Contracts, because what we've got to do is we have to put parents in a place where they feel like their school districts are actually focused on academics. This is about, do you trust your kids in schools? And this is why you see so many parents around the country that say, I don't. I do have real concerns. Well, in Oklahoma, we're going to fight back on this. We see Joe Biden pushing these type of policies.
This is from 2023.
They want this gender theory in our schools.
Nobody wants. What are you even talking about? There is no gender theory in K-12 schools. That's like a college level course, and only for certain majors where it's relevant, like psychology and stuff. It's just delusion. No, that's giving him too much credit. It's not delusion. He knows exactly what he's doing.
We've seen George Soros for years fund school board elections. It's time for conservatives and parents to take your school boards back.
George Soros is the problem, not Elon Musk, or not Rupert Murdoch, or the Koch brothers, or any of the others, but it's George Soros, some dude that's been retired for like, who knows how long, isn't even involved in anything anymore. And when he was, he was funding elections. I'm not a fan of that. It was Democratic elections. I'll give him that. But you notice that all of the thing that they do is always about left-wing billionaires funding things and never billionaires funding things.
Take your schools back. We are going to continue to do this in Oklahoma. I'm not going to allow a drag queen to run a school here in Oklahoma. We are going to fix this problem, and we're going to move on into making sure that this doesn't happen again.
What a colossal scumbag, dude, really. And here's one more from him.
We're going to make an important announcement today regarding the Bible and the Ten Commandments.
By the way, some of the stuff that he's done, it made it all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court rejected it. They said that's too extreme. For real. That was not too long ago. It was like a couple months ago, I think. He tried to, I believe, force teachers to teach from the Bible in every single class. So, like, math class, if Abraham has like 3 kids with Sarah or something, then how many people are in the family? Like that level. Seriously.
Staff has been looking at Oklahoma statute. We've been looking at Oklahoma academic standards. And it's crystal clear to us that in the Oklahoma academic standards, under Title 70, multiple occasions, the Bible is a necessary historical document to teach our kids about the history of this country.
It's not a historical document relevant to the founding of the country at all. And that was very intentional. Like I said, his little attempt here failed, so.
To have a complete understanding of Western civilization, to have an understanding of the basis of our legal system, and is frankly, when we're talking about the Bible, one of the most foundational documents used for the Constitution and the birth of our country.
It's just a lie. This is a fictitious lie. We are a secular constitution. John Adams actually wrote religious shit into the Constitution in its early drafts, and they created new drafts of the Constitution, wrinkling his up and throwing it behind him because they didn't want that. They did not want a religious country. People had just fled areas where they were under religious rule, and they wanted to be able to make their own decisions for their religious beliefs. That is why we are a non-religious country.
We also find major points in history that refer to the Bible. We see multiple figures, whether we're talking about the Federalist Papers, constitutional conventional arguments, and Martin Luther King Jr., who use it as a tremendous impetus for the civil rights movement and tie many of those arguments back to the Bible.
Dude, I love that he is talking about Martin Luther King Jr. as if he gives a shit about him when we happen to know that this is happening right here. If you're in the listening audience, I pulled up the picture of these students spelling out the N-word again. When we happen to know that he didn't do a damn thing about this. And also, we happen to know that he instructed history teachers in the state to not tie the Oklahoma race massacre to race. The Tulsa race massacre, where there was this, what they called Black Wall Street, this little district in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I think, where the black community had built up a bunch of businesses and they were prospering, and the KKK came in and burned it all to the ground, everything, because they didn't want black people to prosper, presumably. He said, we can't bring race into that at all. We can't bring up race in any way. It was just a bunch of people attacking a bunch of other people. That's it. He's a colossal piece of shit. So when I read things like this right here, I was like, those are naked women. And then I was like, no, wait a minute. Those aren't naked. Surely those aren't naked women. When I read them saying things like, I was so disturbed by it, I was like very loudly and boastfully, like I was a parent or a teacher. I said, what's on your TV? What am I watching? It warms my heart to know that this colossal sack of shit is getting what's coming to him, which is to say public scrutiny. And I hope people can actually hold him accountable. He was probably tearing his hair out, walking in circles, figuring out how he was going to get this to stop playing without touching his own phone. Oh, I love it, bro. That's great. Anyway, okay, let's continue reading here. If no wrongdoing occurred, a prompt and transparent review should quickly clear his name, said Speaker Kyle Hilbert. I urge the state superintendent to unlock and turn over all relevant devices and fully cooperate with an investigation. Absolutely. Love it. Fantastic idea. Give us your phone. Give us your phone. We'll just kind of take a quick gander through. We won't even pay any attention to the terrorist groups that you're in communication with right now. We only want to see if you're looking at adult entertainment that very clearly played on a school TV. Edmond Public Schools not only allows kids to access adult entertainment in schools, they're doubling down to keep adult entertainment on the bookshelves, Walters said in a statement. Parents and kids should have the confidence of going to schools to learn. Instead of focusing on education, EPS has chosen to peddle adult entertainment and is leading the charge to undermine parents in Oklahoma. When the dude is guilty of playing adult entertainment on a school television. He turns around and says, the left wants to show adult entertainment to children. I don't get it. How can anybody get away with this? This is nuts. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments. That is just wild, bro. We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. So apparently there's this little community that is being built right now that's whites only in Arkansas. A whites only community.
My name's Nikki, N-I-K-I, I'm 32.
The women of America's whites only town. She's 32.
80.
This is Return to the Land, a group of millennials who organized online to build something radical and controversial. A town for white people only, that they insist is completely legal.
I'm not sure if it's legal, but it's fucking vile.
We spent several days with them, watching as the men set about the physical labor of building out the site. All the while, the women of the group took on the more typically trad, homesteading type roles.
And that looks good. Oh my God.
I guess I found the people through Twitter that ended up starting this project,
Oh, found him through the twit. Color me surprised.
actually spearheading it. And I went out to the first April event last year, and it was really fun.
The sort of white-only aspect of this, how important is that to you guys?
Given the premise that it's something that is kind of off limits for whites, but is okay by implication for other groups,
It's not. What the fuck are you talking about? It's okay? You think that I'm in favor of segregation? What are you smoking? It's not okay for anybody.
do feel it's necessary to carve that out, and you kind of have to do it yourself.
It's kind of like if we don't do this, the laws are only getting worse as far as freedom of association goes.
You think white people aren't going to be allowed to talk to each other anymore?
So it's kind of like we have to do this,
We have to do it or we can't talk anymore.
or there might come a time where it's not possible to.
Are you guys aware sort of, people are going to be watching, it's going to be controversial?
Metal fucking goats though, right? Look at those bad motherfuckers.
It's going to be controversial.
I think people just have a large misunderstanding of what's happening here.
No, I understand perfectly well. You're a white person who also likes other white people, and you don't like people of other ethnicities, backgrounds, or races. And you live in this delusion where you think that the government is going to force you to stop talking to other white people. I think we're all on the same page.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the biggest misunderstanding?
Well,
That we hate everyone else. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Totally, not about that.
It's a loving movement.
I mean, on that
A loving movement.
aspect of it being loving, I suppose the counter argument would be, it could be a very loving community if you're part of the community, but if you're black, or if you're Jewish, or if you're gay, you can't be part of that community.
Oh, you can't be gay either.
They can have their own communities, and they already do. And I think that
No, they don't? What the fuck are you talking about? You think that there are black-only communities? That there are gay-only communities where white or straight people are not allowed to live in them or be a part of them or whatever? If those exist, I stand against it. See how simple that was? Segregation is wrong. Segregation is wrong. I cannot believe I'm saying this in 2025.
it's great for them. It's like if other people are allowed to do it, I don't really see why whites aren't allowed to do it. It doesn't make any sense.
She's trying to normalize it like, oh yeah, everyone does this. Everything's totally normal and I'm persecuted because I'm white.
So it's important for me to do this for my ancestors, my friends, my family, my children, my children's children.
The leader, Eric Orwell, wants the community to grow and further what he calls traditional white American culture. And the group is explicit about this. It has an online fundraiser to give cash rewards to parents of newborns as a means to incentivize population growth. Just before we arrived, they donated $1,000 to a family for having their 6th child.
Their 6th child, dude. Oh my God. I feel like I should infiltrate this community and bring a little color to it, or a little gay to it or something. That'd be awesome, right? Start kind of wandering around in the middle of the night, sticking rainbows to everything. That would be awesome.
Is that part of the mission as well, to sort of have big families, to make the community bigger? Is there a sort of pressure there?
I don't feel particularly myself, I don't feel any pressure to like have a big family. I think there's a kind of expectation here that you do want to, as part of helping grow this thing, that you're going to have kids.
Whites only, dude. Oh my God. And here's another clip from it.
What we've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of...
Doesn't literally everybody have control over that, in that they can, like, buy a house in certain neighborhoods if they want?
Preserving, you know, our culture.
And that culture effectively was saying, this is a white culture, a whites-only place.
White American culture.
Over the last year and a half, high up in the Ozark Hills in the state of Arkansas, dozens of people have been working hard, leveling the land, building houses. They call it an intentional community based around shared ancestry, a long-winded way of saying something really quite simple.
I think we would generally be called far right, sure.
It's called Return to the Land, and they invited me in.
A lot of people are going to be, why are you making Nazi references?
Right. Well, why wouldn't I?
A seemingly bucolic and sometimes surreal experience. But this is built on a radical modern premise, made possible because of a new political and technological moment.
Dude, are they marching?
One with strong ties to the most
Oh, they're showing Patriot Front footage.
One with strong ties to the most active far-right groups in the US. Instead of taking to the streets, they...
Strong ties to Patriot Front, huh? Interesting.
Instead of taking to the streets, they are building their own, for generations to come.
It's important for me to do this for my ancestors, my friends, my family, my children, my children's children.
But in this southern US state, people who have lived through segregation once fear it is returning.
Oh, obviously, yes, of course.
When you hear things like that, it causes you to be fearful.
Bro, there are people alive today that remember segregation and what it was like to, like, not be allowed to drink from the same fucking water fountain as everybody else. If she probably remembers not being able to use the same bathroom as white people. And here we sit, we're going backward.
And you don't know who to trust.
Its founder says he is building a fortress for the white race.
It's a racial association. I kind of want to ask you, you know, after seeing this, do you think what we're doing is immoral?
Yes, it is immoral for you to try to segregate yourself from other non-white people. What is broken in your brain? He wants to make it wholesome. Well, guess what? Holding Nazi beliefs can look wholesome at face value. You can frame literally anything up like it's wholesome. Literally anything. It doesn't mean it's actually wholesome. You're a vile scumbag. Jesus Christ. Available on Sky News. Yeah, I may actually watch this on my Unfiltered channel. If you guys want to watch the whole thing, it's like 30 minutes long. Check me out on there Wednesdays and Thursdays, 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Eastern. That's probably the next thing we'll watch, so let me know what you think about it in the comments. We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. I think we all know that by now, right? There are some absolutely bizarre, disturbing defenses of Donald Trump by right-wing influencers since he was outed as a prolific person who takes advantage of children. I don't know how else to say it. This is Azalea Banks. She's a rapper, used to be a rapper, I think. Okay, in Donald Trump's defense, effing 14-year-old girls was really only made a social taboo in the 1990s. Literally defending taking advantage of children right now. My grandmother was born in 1927 and had her first child when she was 12. You think that was okay? Teenage pregnancy only become frowned upon with the rise of Jerry Springer, and I also can be honest about the fact that I was old enough to choose, seduce, and decide to sleep with grown men when I was 15. I really don't get why women are fronting like they weren't sleeping with 40-year-olds at 15. Like, come on now. I'm honestly not surprised or mad at Trump for getting some 15-year-olds because those were the times. Good night, USA forever. Now, if he was with a 10-year-old, we have a problem. But if the girls were 13 plus, who cares? Move on. What? This is 100% real. And here's a follow-up from Azalea. The age of consent should be lowered to 15. I don't know who on what committee made it 18 and don't know why anyone really believes these kids are waiting until 18. Make it 13 for boys and 15 for girls because these men are out here with these kids, and if you don't think they can consent, you're wildly mistaken. Latest defense of Donald Trump just dropped. I used to think the dude was scandal-proof, and I think that this verifies that, right? He's scandal-proof. He can literally do anything, and face zero consequences for it. What the hell is happening? This is from the same people complaining about sexualizing children in schools. Isn't that the complaint about trans people? Or whatever? How did we get here, dude? Where people are defending literal taking advantage of children. And not only that, Newsmax and the general right-wing ecosphere is prepping people for the possibility that Ghislaine Maxwell will be pardoned and that she's innocent and that what she did wasn't so bad. This is Newsmax, I believe. This is Greg Kelly.
And she's also been subpoenaed by the Oversight Committee. I think this is great. I do have a feeling that she just might be a victim.
Ghislaine Maxwell?
She just might be. There was a
rush
to judgment. There was a lot of chaos there for a while. All right. Granted, she hung out with Jeffrey Epstein, and I know that's apparently not good, but she's in jail.
Jesus Christ, dude, that's absolutely vile and evil and wrong. You know what she did? I've studied this a lot because it heavily relates to cults. Human trafficking. Pimps. Pimps have what's called a bottom. And this is a woman, it needs to be a woman, who convinces young, often naive girls who don't know better to come into the fold and work for this pimp. Pimping, by the way, is considered human trafficking. They will, you know what? Andrew Tate described it best. Let me see if I can find. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Okay. Andrew Tate describes how he became a pimp. And this is human trafficking. Pimping is human trafficking. And he describes a bottom. This is what Ghislaine Maxwell did for Jeffrey Epstein. Listen to Tate describe his story. By the way, these videos are not easy to find or access. They are on my Dropbox. I think my Dropbox is still live. I had trouble with it the other day. But yeah, owenmorgan.com/clips. Might be able to find them there. But check this out.
For us to make more money because I can only fight so many times per year and I know their income. So I got a pen and paper and I was on YouTube researching, how people make money, what millionaires
Holla, YouTube
have, and they kept talking about assets. And I was sitting there thinking, what assets do I have? I'm trying to buy a property. I mean, I didn't own a property in the UK at the time because they didn't pay me tax to anyone. I didn't want to pay taxes, so I didn't buy a house to confirm me. So I was like, what assets do I have? Okay, I have a car, I have this, I have that. And then I realized I had about 5 girlfriends, all smoking hot. And females are an asset. Attractive females are absolutely an asset. And if you disagree with me, walk in the club with 10 blondes and you'll see who the most important guy in the club is. Champagne shows. I've walked in the club with 10 girls and there's guys next to me doing champagne shows. Is anyone looking at their table or my table? No one gives a f about their table. It's the most important driving force of this planet. It's the only reason that empires were started and wars were.
Okay, gonna have a lot of censoring to do here.
It's the only reason all you guys are out there are even interested in having money. If there was no out, you wouldn't care about having money. You say, oh, I'll have a little bit of money and I'll just play chess all day. I don't care. I'll play video games. The only reason we want cars and clothes and six.
Okay, so he tells his story. Now let's jump forward where he tells how he did it.
I could easily translate mine to a street business, and you could easily street pimp with the things I'm going to teach you. But I didn't want no one else to f*** a girl. That's the truth. My girls. I want to f*** girls. I want some other guy f*** my girls. The fuck that. So the way you're going to do that is you have to have some element of influence, and you're going to have that element of influence through her respecting you, looking up to you, and her believing she needs you. And this is extreme.
This is force, fraud, or coercion. This is the definition of, God, I don't know how I'll say it in a polite way. This is the definition of f***ing somebody, when you are taking advantage of them through force, fraud, or coercion.
Important. Because at the beginning, she will need you, but then she won't need you. But you have to keep that fallacy, keep that dream alive that she can't do this without you, to ensure that she doesn't do it without you. So this is what screen share is all about. Effectively, this is the way the business works. The girl sits on the camera.
Okay, wow, that was sudden. Hold on, let me pull up the next one. I'm going to let this play because I know it doesn't get too bad, but I'm going to have to cut it in post.
Now, when the girl is on camera, and you would have seen from my promotional video, that was at the height of my webcam empire. The blonde in that video I'm still with now. I know, she's smoking.
I think we've trailed off into where it doesn't matter anymore. I was specifically looking for the part where he says, you have to have another girl come up and talk to the ones that you're convincing to work with you because they feel more comfortable doing it. That was Jeffrey Epstein's. That's what a bottom does. She convinces women who trust them. She convinces them to do this stuff. And some of it's because, you know, she likes the power trip that comes along with it. Some of it's because she likes the money. Some of it's because she loves the person, whatever. But that was Ghislaine Maxwell. She would do things like she would get these young girls, 12, 13, 14 years old. She'd get them in a room and she'd start changing clothes in the same room with them, like naked, trying to normalize being naked around them so that they're less shocked by it. Oh, this is just what people do. And next thing you know, we got Jeffrey in the next room getting naked and changing, and it turns into something more very quickly. She is the human trafficker. She is the one that helped Jeffrey Epstein. She's the necessary component that made all of this happen. She is a monster and deserves to die in jail. Spend the rest of her life there, is the point. And here we have Newsmax defending her, saying that she's really, she had a bad shake. She didn't get treated right. This is vile. She participated, right? She participated. It wasn't just her being like the person that whatever. She was doing all of this right alongside Jeffrey Epstein. She is equally as evil as Jeffrey Epstein, really. Fascinatingly, though, like there seems to be this weird split right now in the MAGA movement between people that like support Trump no matter what and those who are really upset with him over the Epstein stuff. Listen to what Donald Trump said about it recently.
That was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island. And Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege.
Bro, what are you talking? No one ever talks about them? People talk about them all the time.
Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island.
The privilege?
And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down.
One of my very good moments. I wouldn't want to see your bad moments then. For the record, Bill Clinton, I want anybody that went there to serve time and who did that stuff, serve time. Face consequences for that. I don't care if it is Bill Clinton. I don't care. But for what it's worth, I don't actually think that Bill Clinton is guilty here. Bill Clinton went on a tour to Africa with Chris Tucker and was sponsored by Jeffrey Epstein. He was a rich, famous financier who did philanthropic work all the time. His main goal, Epstein's, was getting blackmail material on people. That's why he did the things that he did, so that he could get blackmail material. And you know what he did? You know what happened when he was there? We got this picture here. Let me pull it up. Right here. This is a picture of an Epstein accuser giving Bill Clinton a massage. As it turns out, this was on that tour to the African countries that I was talking about, that philanthropic tour. As it turns out, she was 25, I think, here. She was the flight attendant on the private jet. And she said about Bill Clinton, he was a perfect gentleman. He never did anything questionable. But this scenario played out when Bill Clinton, they all got off the plane for a layover to stop and rest or whatever. And he said, boy, those seats are pretty rough. And Ghislaine Maxwell is there. She's the one taking the picture here. And she says, you know, Shantae Davies here, she's a professional masseuse. She can probably do it for you. She could probably give you a massage. And he said, oh, no, it's okay. And Maxwell pushed and said, no, she'll do it. It's fine. And Clinton looked at her and said, would you? And she said, sure. So she starts massaging his neck here. Again, perfect gentleman. Nothing happened. They were in an airport. And Maxwell snaps this picture. Now, why the do you think she would snap this picture? It was certainly blackmail, right? That was the whole bit. That's why they flew people around in their jet and stuff all the time in the first place. Blackmail material, even if it had to be manufactured. Now, I don't believe that Bill Clinton was... I think Bill Clinton should go to jail if he did any of this stuff. I just don't think he did. Your cat is drooling. Mine do it a lot. Oh, is that what it was? Okay. Anyway, I think that Clinton is not guilty of this very specific thing, of any Epstein stuff. He is in the flight logs 28 times because he went to like the African countries. He did a tour with Chris Tucker and others of the African countries, speaking there to their like prime ministers and stuff. Trump, on the other hand, he did not go to African countries on a tour to talk to all of them and be uplifting and help and all the whatever other stuff. Additionally, there's no evidence that Bill Clinton has ever actually been to the Virgin Islands, to Little St. James, his island, Epstein's island, or any of that. And we actually have cell data that was purchased legally from a marketing company showing a bunch of people who have gone to and from the island. As a matter of fact, there's a whole Wired thing on it. The point is that Donald Trump's pointing the finger at other people because he knows that he's guilty here. And a lot of people are very unhappy about the fact that Donald Trump suckered them into all of this. You know, kind of inspired this Epstein stuff and then yanked the rug out from under them.
Well, there's just one problem here. One problem with the president's position. It turns out his supporters did indeed take the story hook, line, and sinker because Donald Trump was the one fishing with that story throughout the presidential campaign. The president is the one who made Epstein the story. And quite frankly, what happened today is a slap in the face to conservatives, many of whom feel humiliated and, quite frankly, screwed over. Well, the president telling reporters in the Oval Office.
I mean, honestly, you should. You should feel humiliated, dummy. What did you really not see this coming?
That he's lost faith in certain people within the MAGA movement because they were duped by the Democrats. Funny, because that's quite frankly what a lot of MAGA leaders are saying right now about the White House. Well,
by the way, you guys seeing this cat? So regal, right? So regal. Oh, she's getting mad because I keep moving things around. Such a regal kitty. All right, let's continue. Anyway, the point is that people are very, very unhappy with Donald Trump right now. I mean, even boiling down to the head of the Family Research Council, FRC, Tony Perkins on the right here, religious nutcase. He is one of the most influential Christian nationalists in the world. And if you don't know his name, it's because he operates behind the scenes a lot. Give this one a listen.
I think this has taken on a much bigger life than it needed to. I mean, because, like me, I'm not really paying attention to the Epstein files. I mean, so the guy was a pervert. He was abusing children. He went to jail, supposedly killed himself. But now,
supposedly,
when people have the ability to release the records, they're not releasing them. It makes me suspicious. And now I'm paying attention to it.
Yeah, it is kind of suspicious, right? Why doesn't he just release them? It's because he's all over the records and everybody knows that he is. This is a big split in the MAGA movement right now, and I find it absolutely fascinating to watch. Check this kid out who's about to absolutely destroy a MAGA nutcase over this issue.
The party that promised to defeat the deep state very quickly became the deep state. Pam Bondi says, I have the list on my desk right here. They're rather silent for a few months. Then Elon Musk says Trump is in the Epstein list. Then within weeks, apparently the list is gone. I mean, I'm looking at this photo of Jack Posobiec holding up the Epstein files. It says the Epstein files, phase 1. But where's phase 2?
That's Jack Posobiec on the left. Where is phase 2?
No phase 2.
He actually helped Epstein be prosecuted. He was the only person who was involved, kicked him out of the Epstein. You know all this, like just a very.
Have you heard of Alexander Acosta? You were duped to cover up sexual abuse of
Donald
children.
Trump was
you were
kicked him
duped.
out of his.
Alexander Acosta was a Florida district attorney. You can look this up. He knew both Trump and Epstein. He was appointed as a Secretary of Labor under Trump and had to resign in 2017 because people found out that he mishandled the Epstein case in 2007 and let Epstein get an illegal plea deal. Epstein was then able to go re-offend, and Trump appointed him in 2017. So I don't want to hear the dude that was brought to the White House to cover up sexual abuse saying that there was, what are you trying to say here? Yeah.
You gotta wipe your face. Can you just wipe that little thing off your face there a little bit? You got a little,
hold on a
mud on your face.
You have no points.
Hold on a second.
He has no points. That's the bottom line. Anyway, the point is that MAGA is absolutely losing their minds right now over the Epstein stuff. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. And this is one more thing here. I'm sorry. This is so fascinating to me. This is how QAnon has reacted up to now. This is like the QAnon reaction that we got. This is Liz Crokin, full-blown QAnoner, reacting to Elon Musk saying that Trump is in the Epstein files accurately, as we knew this whole time. Elon Musk just tweeted Trump is in the Jeffrey Epstein files, and the Democrats and the media will no doubt have a field day with this. However, just sit back and relax, because I have no doubt this will boomerang gloriously in Trump's favor. Oh boy. And make the deep state look like fools yet again. Yeah, absolutely. Here's what it boiled down to. President Trump, of course, would be in the Epstein files because he was in Epstein's black book. And more importantly, he was the only associate of Epstein's in that black book who helped Bradley Edwards, who represented dozens of Epstein's victims, with his case against the prolific person who takes advantage of children. As far as Trump being the reason they can't be made public, that makes perfect sense, considering that it was Trump's Attorney General, Jeffrey Sessions, who started the investigation into Epstein under Trump's direction. Bullshit. Which lead to the arrest of, which lead to the arrest of Epstein and several of his associates. And I bet those files also contain classified info that can't be made public quite yet, that will reveal that Trump was perhaps working undercover with white hats to take Epstein and his ring down, going back multiple decades. Yeah, absolutely. He was working undercover to take down Epstein, 100%. I think she's getting sick of me doing this. No, she's really leaning into my hand. I think she wants me to scratch harder. Okay, I can do that. Damn. You done? Anyway, the point is that Liz Crokin, QAnon extraordinaire, refuses to accept reality and is trying to come up with as many ridiculous excuses as she possibly can to justify the fact that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. Yeah, tell me what you think about it in the comments.
We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com.
I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they worked together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. So there's this dude, he's a social media influencer, larger than me, who has become renowned for being like a Sieg Heiling, Hitler-loving Nazi. And there's a news report on the guy. He lives in Tennessee. So, like, this Tennessee local news channel did a piece on him. Check this out.
He is a Hitler-loving podcaster on a mission to convince young Christian men to hate, all in the name of God. And it turns out he calls Tennessee home.
Tonight, you will meet that controversial figure who critics worry is leading a lot of young men across the country down a treacherous path. He sat down for a one-on-one interview with News Channel 5 chief investigative reporter Phil Williams, who has been confronting the hate in our state for almost 2 years now.
Phil is with us now. And Phil, this is a very different character from the neo-Nazi white supremacists you've previously confronted, right?
Definitely different in tone in how he presents himself. Corey Mahler portrays himself as an intellectual and as a theologian. Still, as you're about.
I mean, a lot of them do that. I'm not sure which neo-Nazis he's been talking to. You know, there's like this neo-Nazi heritage in the United States. I read this whole big book about it, basically. There's a guy named George Lincoln Rockwell, aka Lincoln Rockwell, came around after World War II had already ended, I think the 50s and 60s, and he popularized this belief system and eventually passed down the reins to a guy that called himself William Luther Pierce. And William Luther Pierce is probably most famous for having written the Turner Diaries, if you're familiar with that. I did a video on it. It's called The Most Dangerous Book in the World. Teaches you how to make bombs and stuff, and it's this neo-Nazi, apocalyptic. They take control of the United States and launch nukes and everything. Anyway, Lincoln Rockwell down to William Luther Pierce, they very much picked up the banner after Hitler died and continued to spread neo-Nazi beliefs through the country. And as a matter of fact, I believe Lincoln Rockwell ran for president, and he tried to form out the America Party. 100% real. The America Party. If that sounds familiar, you may recognize it as Elon Musk's political party that he just started. Anyway, Lincoln Rockwell was also a conspiracy theorist who believed that Nazis escaped escaped Germany to Antarctica, as well as Argentina, as they did, and to a bunch of other places. He thinks that one of those destinations was Antarctica, and there are caves there that they were living in and kind of rebuilding. It's called the Last Battalion Conspiracy. And he thinks that UFOs are actually Nazi weapons, like Nazi, advanced weaponry that they brought with them when Germany fell. And that all the UFOs and abductions, it's all Nazis from Antarctica trying to get intel on their enemy. I mean, it's wild. Anyway, when the Nazi party moved over here from Germany, Germany was a very, very religious place. 95% Christian, 3.5% quote unquote believe in God, 1.5% atheist. And the Nazis were Christian, almost exclusively. It was the ones that were not Catholic were a denomination, or they were Lutheran, basically. They were kind of a subset of Lutheran. There was a Nazi denomination called the German Christians. They were going to call themselves the Christian nationalists, but Hitler decided German Christian is better. Anyway, as you'll see in a second, this guy that we're going to talk about, he's Lutheran. I find that particularly interesting. But when it came over to the United States from Germany, the U.S. was a less religious place than Germany was at the time. And the Nazi movement here decided to throw off the Jewish influence, basically. They decided to embrace paganism entirely. And they take part in, they're like motorcycle gangs and things like that. That's probably the perception that a lot of people have of Nazis today, is tough motorcycle gang, pagan assholes who are violent and hateful and everything else. But that's not really what the Nazi movement is in the United States anymore, certainly. For a long time now, it's been predominantly Catholic and very, some Lutherans, of course, very Christian, very white nationalist. The old KKK basically picked up the Nazi banner and ran with it. And that's what we're looking at with this, or that's what we're going to listen to with this guy in a second.
To see his hate is not so different from the hate of the KKK.
I moved back to where my family is from. I'm happy to live here.
From here in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains in historic Blount County, a 39-year-old Tennessee man is waging a battle for the heart and soul of the American Protestant Church, a church that in his view should teach not just about a God of love, but also a God of hate.
Slavery isn't outlawed in Scripture. It can't be. God doesn't change. God says it's permissible in the Old Testament.
Hey, fair enough. God is a scumbag in the Bible, yeah?
Bible-quoting podcast has sparked intense online debate in conservative Christian circles.
Title of the article here is, Corey Mahler believes Hitler went to heaven and wants to take over the Lutheran Church.
About his growing...
Again, the Lutheran Church was the church of the Nazi Party. Hitler persecuted Catholics for a while, not forever. I mean, they got along pretty well for a while there too, but the Lutheran Church was completely taken over by Nazism, which makes sense because Lutheranism started right there in Germany with Martin Luther in 1517 or whatever.
And wants to take over the Lutheran Church.
About his growing influence.
I don't talk about Stone Choir because I don't talk about Stone Choir. I don't think they're a big problem.
Among young Christian men.
The reason we're having to address it is because we're seeing it in our churches.
And according to some, his threat to the church.
And he is one of the most dangerous people on the planet and the biggest threat to confessional Lutheranism that I see.
One of the most dangerous people on the planet.
We're somewhere between 50,000 and 100,000 listeners right now.
Per episode.
That's actually crazy. I would put him at 700,000 or 800,000 subbies with those types of numbers, maybe, possibly more.
Mahler's Stone Choir podcast is by his own admission aimed at hooking impressionable young men.
And if you want to influence society, you want to influence young men.
And that is your goal, is to push young men further and further to the right.
Our goal is...
Okay, were the Confederates blue or gray uniforms? They were blue, weren't they? Oh, they were gray. Never mind.
Is to push young men to become actual Christians.
Part of Mahler's idea of being an actual Christian, the notion expressed in this tweet that Jesus Christ is Lord and Adolf Hitler is his faithful servant. You are an avowed racist?
Yes.
You are an anti-Semite? You hate Jews?
Yes. I wouldn't say that I hate Jews.
You think Jews are the enemy?
I think that religious Jews are certainly the enemy.
You think democracy is evil?
Correct.
You are a fascist?
Yes.
And unlike most Americans who honor the sacrifices of the brave men who died on the European battlefields, instead of memorializing the dead...
We don't have video footage of Normandy, do we? That was a recreation, wasn't it? I'm just curious now. Let's see. Oh, we do have authentic moving image footage of D-Day. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow, damn. I want to see this. Wait, let's see. Was that the footage?
June 4th, 1944.
Ooh.
The men of the armies marched toward the southern ports.
Wow, dude, that's nuts.
Overwhelming.
These people, by and large, going to their deaths.
Vessels from battleships to PT boats guarded the convoy across the channel and embarked. At hand. Job
Hold on, I'm just looking for them like exiting the. Wait, is this it? I'm not sure what this is.
German fire brought down Allied soldiers,
wow.
but others kept on.
Wow, dude, that's crazy.
Craft sank in the rough sea, and many rescues were effected.
Yeah, people just falling off, just dying, just being shot to The Germans had these things called pillboxes. I studied World War II extensively because I wrote a book, Was Hitler an Atheist? Amazon Audible, check it out. But you know what? Since I'm thinking of it, I'm going to add some shopping options too. I just added new products, by the by, to my store if you guys want to check that out. I have everything in shirt, hat, and mug form. So I'm just going to add random items. My favorite is the Holy Ghosted mug. I really like that one a lot. As I was saying, check out my book if you want to learn more about this, whole story. But the Germans had pillboxes built into the side of a mountain, a big concrete, like, fortifications, and they had these guns that you had to have you had to be very careful with how you pulled the trigger, because if you held the trigger in for too long, it would fire as many rounds as you wanted, but the barrel would literally melt. It would turn red hot and then white hot, and it would just fall off. And it was absolutely worthless at that point. So the Germans are standing there, like, firing these guns and just mowing people down. They had these hedgehogs, these giant 3-foot tall, like, metal things to trap boats and make it, scrape the bottom of them. But it was low tide, so the hedgehogs were visible. And people were, they hop out of the boats, they hide behind the hedgehogs until the guy in the pillbox had to stop firing because his gun's going to melt down. And then they advance. And they were just picking people off left and right. It was like a coin flip if they were going to survive. You can see it in this video, people falling. They're just, one guy gets hit and the other keeps on running. It was absolutely insane. See, these people are being shot and falling off the boat. The point is that we went through this once already. This war with Nazis. We already went through this. This is actually genuine footage, if I had to guess. We went through this once already, and here we are. A lot of our grandparents would be horrified by what's happening in the U.S. right now.
And unlike most Americans who honor the sacrifices of the brave men who died on the European battlefields, instead of memorializing the dead, Mahler argues the overwhelming majority of those who died on the Allied side in World War II are in hell. You think Hitler was a man of God who is in paradise?
That is correct.
And you think every Jew that Hitler killed is in hell?
If he was a practicing Jew.
As for the well-documented historical horror of the Holocaust, Mahler calls it an anti-German blood libel. If you believe that Hitler...
Blood libel is the claim that Jews eat babies. And this is circulated in atheist circles too. Atheists eat babies. People make this claim about all kinds of groups that they don't like. But it's unique with Jews because they being like Tsarist Russia and Germany and a bunch of other European countries and the United States, people all over the world have claimed that they're like putting babies in matzo ball soup and stuff for 500 years or more. It's the same tired claims repeated over and over. That's blood libel. And he says it's blood libel against Germans that the Holocaust happened. That is just disgusting.
Blood libel. If you believe that Hitler did kill millions of Jews, would you have a problem with that?
I don't believe that he did.
If he did, would you have a problem with it?
Of course he wouldn't. Come on, be honest about your beliefs, buddy. Just tell us.
I don't have a problem with genocide per se, and I can't as a Christian, because God commanded it in the Old Testament of the Canaanites.
Okay, but did God command the genocide of Jewish people? Because I think you got to be selective about the genocides that you accept, right? Okay, as a Christian, I understand you want to accept the Canaanite one. I don't. I think that's disgusting. But that doesn't mean you should accept every one of them. What?
Hitler was right! It's a message not unlike the neo-Nazis we've confronted on Nashville streets, or even members of the Ku Klux Klan who once operated in the backwoods of the Old South. What's the difference between you and an uneducated guy in a white robe and hood?
Well,
I'm educated, right?
Object to say that those men were necessarily uneducated.
I knew he was going to say it. I'm educated. That's the difference.
Necessarily uneducated. There were many members of the KKK who were certainly quite educated.
The fringe guy like Corey Mahler, what he ends up doing is creating space for the slightly less radical people to push their radicalism and have it look normal by comparison, thus normalizing their arguments.
Yep. Also, I find it interesting his name is Mahler, M-A-H-L-E-R. The leader of the Nazi church was named Ludwig Müller. or something to that effect. Muller, with the little umlaut above the U. Ludwig Muller is how we would say it in American, but he controlled the Nazi denomination, the German Christians, the Christian nationalists, and made a complete mess out of everything. I just think it's really fascinating that this guy's name is so close.
James Lindsay is a conservative commentator who has drawn criticism for his critique of the so-called woke left, more recently setting his sights on what he dubbed the woke right. He says it would be a mistake to dismiss Mueller as just being a fringe character.
The fringe doesn't always stay the fringe. The fringe can, in fact, very radically and very quickly become a major force in society.
Absolutely. That's what happened in Germany. It was like that.
You're a Christian nationalist?
Correct.
As Mueller imagines it, America needs a Hitler-like figure, a so-called Christian prince, to get elected and then seize power to impose a Christian nationalist government.
I think that, that's what we're seeing.
The leader, he argues, will necessarily be either Lutheran or Presbyterian. Baptist, he admitted, need not apply.
I find it so fascinating that he says Lutheran or Presbyterian, because those are basically the two denominations in Germany in World War II era. It wasn't Presbyterian. It was called the Reformed Church. And it was the predecessor of Presbyterian. It was Calvinist. Like in the 1500s, I think like 1517, Martin Luther creates Lutheranism effectively, or created the split anyway. John Calvin comes along, or whatever, and around 1530 creates Reformed Church, which believes in predestination and everything. And the two denominations operated in that area together for so long that they started working closely together, and even created a third denomination called United Churches, where they're a combination of the two of them. So I find it so interesting that he's in favor of either Lutheran or Presbyterian. This is like somebody who understands German religious history very, very well is the only, those are the only people that would understand what subtext he's laying down here.
Presbyterian. Baptist, he admitted, need not apply.
I think that a lot of Baptists do not read the scripture and believe what they've read.
Yeah, and they would have no place in a Christian nationalist government.
In the government, yes.
Mueller would also drive.
But they'd be allowed to live here. Other people, on the other hand, Muslims, no. I guess not in his worldview, right?
Yes.
Mueller would also drive every person of color out of the country, even if they are American citizens, arguing that we should make America white again. The United States is a constitutional republic. Where in the Constitution does it say that it's for whites only?
It doesn't, but that's why he wants to repeal the Constitution and put in autocracy, of course. It's so disturbing to listen to people be so open about this.
If you go back to the interest of the founding fathers and their intent is for us and for our posterity. Well, posterity is blood.
Does it say that in the Constitution?
It doesn't currently say that, but that's a fundamental problem with the Constitution. Are blacks intellectually and morally inferior? Yes.
Part of Mueller's technique, we discovered, is to condescendingly spout supposed facts that support his views about black crime, for example, while dismissing others that don't. And overwhelmingly, those responsible for sexually assaulting children are white men. Why don't you talk about white male crime?
Those data are actually inaccurate.
Oh, yeah. How convenient, huh? Everything that you disagree with is just inaccurate. It's not that you are factually wrong. Everybody else has to be lying, right? Okay.
Look at the...
So you believe nothing that doesn't confirm your views?
No, if you look at the per capita rate, the difference is that I actually look at the statistics.
Uh-huh.
And I run the statistical analysis myself.
Studies that disagree with your viewpoint.
God has set the rules. God plays by the rules.
Mueller, in fact, never seems to doubt his own intellectual superiority, especially when it comes to his claims about Jews that are built on the flimsiest of foundations.
Jews who are practicing Jews pray multiple times a day to curse Christians.
Oh, come on.
I have lots of Jewish friends. They do not curse Christians.
Well, they don't tell you they curse Christians.
Oh, it's a secret. Yeah, okay, got it. It's a secret. Okay. So what he's saying really here is that Jews secretly actually despise Christians and hate them and are disgusted by them and hope that they die. That's secretly what they think, and they won't tell you that. They'll just be your best friend for your whole life. You know, grow up with you, go to school with you, get married, you know, in the same, like, you live in the same neighborhood and all that other stuff. But secretly, they're cursing you, right?
Come on. Part of the Jewish religion is also to lie about the Jewish religion.
Which was a lot like his claims that Jews owned the pornography industry and wielded it as a weapon against whites, particularly white Christians.
Yeah.
You blame Jews for that? Yes, they admit that.
Hugh Hefner was raised Methodist.
Sure.
Larry Flint, who produced some very vile pornography, was raised Pentecostal.
Sure.
Larry Flint. I don't know that name. He's an American publisher and founder of Hustler magazine. Oh, okay. He made Hustler. I see. Starting in 1974. Interesting. He's also a First Amendment crusader and controversy magnate. Often published exposés of conservative politicians involved in scandal, targeting hypocrisy in public life, and used checkbook journalism to expose them. Not sure what checkbook journalism is, but I'm actually a huge fan of that. His outspokenness and business methods made him both polarizing and an unlikely civil liberties icon. Okay, cool. I like it.
Sure. So why are you not willing to look at the role of other groups in pornography?
Look at what the Jews themselves say in their own papers. They proudly say that they are behind pornography and that they push it because they hate God.
What are you talking about? Who are you referring to? Who is they? Are they in the room with us right now? For real? Do you think there's some amorphous group, some ambiguous secret cabal behind closed doors that are like planning the downfall of white people or something?
That is just not true. I can get you the article. Obviously, I don't have it on me. I didn't print it, but that is literally a quote from a Jew.
Okay, now from a Jew, he said. Okay, interesting. One more time. Let's see if we can find it. No, that claim is false. There is no credible evidence that Jews as a group are behind adult entertainment out of hatred for God. This claim relies on bigoted generalizations and misrepresentations, individual actions as representative of an entire group. Many people in the adult industry, including executives, performers, and consumers, come from a wide range of ethnicities and religions. So where did it come from? Far-right publications and white nationalist tracts like those from Kevin MacDonald, which is, I was talking about him earlier, William Luther Pierce. That's actually who that is. It was a pen name. Kevin MacDonald's his name, I believe. David Duke and E. Michael Jones, all of whom pushed the idea of Jewish control over media and moral decay. Some Jewish individuals were involved in the early Hollywood and adult film industries, often because their industries were closed to immigrants or minority groups, but there's no secret plot, religious hatred, or coordinated intent. It's delusion. So I would love to have this supposed quote he has for me. Can't even give me the name.
Because they hate God.
That is just not true.
I can get you the article. Obviously, I don't have it on me. I didn't print it, but that is literally a quote from a Jew.
A Jew.
Yes,
so,
of course.
Well, if you're talking about from a Jew, then you're going to
if you're talking about a quote, it's obviously from one man. They don't all speak with the same head. They're not a hydra in that sense.
In that sense, he says.
And yet there he was making an argument based on a quote that he later attributed to a single Jewish pornographer, Al Goldstein, a self-proclaimed atheist, claiming he was speaking for all Jews, while also ignoring, for example, the extraordinary number of Jewish Nobel Prize winners who have been honored for their contributions to humanity. And yet, you say...
Look, the problem is that he believes or claims that there is a network of Jews that are working together to destroy humanity. And the reason he believes that is for the same reason Hitler believed it, because they think that there's something in the blood, something inferior that even if you appear to be a good person, you aren't, you cannot be, because you are just genetically predisposed to being an evil person. That's the claim when it all boils down to it. It's not just anti-Semitism. This is full-blown Nazi ideology and even Nazi religious belief.
Our enemies are ontologically evil. No means are morally impermissible in pursuit of exterminating them.
Sure.
I'm sorry. No, our enemies are ontologically evil. Yeah, right. Wow. That was funny timing. I just explained that. That's exactly what he claims. No means are morally impermissible in pursuit of exterminating them because they're ontologically evil. There is no good in them, in our enemies. They deserve to die because they are evil. And that's why you can be the best person on planet Earth in public, but if you have a Jewish grandparent, then you were considered non-Aryan in Germany at the time.
In pursuit of exterminating them.
Sure.
Perhaps most disturbing is Mahler's view that a future American Hitler would be justified in rounding up and exterminating Jews or any other peoples deemed to be the enemy.
My preferable means of exterminating any given enemy is converting him to Christ. Because in doing that, I have destroyed him as an enemy.
And if they don't, you're okay with killing them?
That would be war. And killing in war has always been something that Christians find permissible as long as the war itself is morally justified.
Corey Mahler is an evil man. He should be marked. He has been marked. We shouldn't be praising him for anything.
While conservative churches wrestle with Mahler's influence, the East Tennessee man continues to harken back to a dark past.
Honestly, he's really not that much of a minority anymore. I mean, Nick Fuentes, gigantic. Millions of people listen to Nick Fuentes. And a ton of other people like that. Candace Owens has all the same beliefs effectively. These are not marked people. These are not outliers in the Conservative Party, I mean. There is a large subset of people that hold these beliefs.
Trying to convince young men that this should also be America's future. If viewers hear some of your viewpoints, why should they not conclude that your viewpoints are evil?
If men can formulate an argument that is based in God's word, that is sound, and that is against what I have said, then by all means, they should listen to God and not me.
2 years ago, Corey Mahler was
Jesus was not in favor of killing people and stuff.
Excommunicated from his home church of the Lutheran Church in Knoxville and accused of trying to tear apart his entire denomination, although he says he is still welcome to worship in another Lutheran church near his home in East Tennessee.
Having trouble finding words after watching that. But Phil, I wonder, after spending time with him, what is the sense you get about why he is attracting people, especially young men?
Well, first of all, as you saw there, he's very calm and comes across as studious. And he inundates you with so many claims of facts that it's difficult to slow him down long enough to dissect those claims.
Gish Gallop.
And that's why some pastors say they're just trying to get young men in their congregations to just take a break from listening to his podcast. Just turn him off.
Mm-hmm. Phil, eye-opening indeed. Thank you. As we mentioned, this is part of Phil's ongoing investigation confronting hate in our state and in our communities. You can see Phil's other reports. Just go to newschannel5.com/hate.
Wow, man. That's absolutely wild. What was that again?
Newschannel5.com.
Newschannel5.com/hate. Okay. 5.com/hate. Let's see. What do we got here? Hate comes to Main Street / QAnon comes to Main Street. Really? QAnon? We got QAnon videos? Anyway, yeah. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. That is wild, man.
We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. So this is Shane Vaughn. He's a Trump theologist, believes that Trump is the son of man, basically the second coming of Jesus, literally. He had an interesting reaction to Donald Trump coming out as, being in the Epstein files, basically. He literally works Trump into his theology, so I wanted to listen to what he had to say. Now, I covered this specific clip about a week ago, but let's watch this one, which I haven't covered. The dude makes a weird number of comparisons between Trump and Jesus. Give this a listen. Oh, yeah, and I'm sorry, and we're going to have the cat cam because I have a cat in my lap, so you guys get to sit here and watch the cat get pets.
The only thing that's coming today is the crucifixion of Donald Trump. Oh, no, not by the Romans, Yeshua, Jesus Christ, was not killed by the Romans.
Yes, he was.
Yes, they drove the nails, but it was the Jews that delivered him to them.
It really wasn't. This whole bit about how the Jews were guilty, they were the ones that whatever, it's not true. It was the Romans. Jesus was a threat to Roman power structures, and they decided to kill him for it. Later on, the people who recorded this wrote about his life and everything. They were trying to move people away from Judaism and toward this new burgeoning religion of Christianity, and rewrote the story to be one where Jews were the bad guys, in all seriousness. I'm getting this from Bart Ehrman, if you're curious. You can give some of his books a read on the subject.
And one can't help but wonder if history is not repeating itself and we are not delivering Donald Trump to the crucifixion of his enemies.
Oh my God, dude. It's absurd, right? One comparison to Jesus, though, okay, maybe it was just hyperbole, but that's not the only comparison to Jesus, to be perfectly honest. There are like a lot. Here's one. Check this out.
There is no MAGA without Donald Trump. It infuriates me to the core to see disloyalty. When you separate the man from a message, all of a sudden the message will die because the anointing is on the man. Donald Trump is the leader of the MAGA movement. You watched what happened to him 2 short years ago. You saw it with your eyes around midnight. Amen? For you to leave him now makes you a traitor of the MAGA movement. I don't care if you like it or not.
I'm trying to remember what was happening at this moment. This is 2023, early February. I don't remember what specific thing was taking place at this moment.
I don't, because it's the truth. It makes you a traitor of the MAGA movement. You don't separate MAGA from the man that created it. You understand that? And to do so proves your character. Listen, when you do not support the man that God has ordained for the job, you are a Judas.
Oh, is that the end? You're a Judas. How many comparisons is he going to make between Donald Trump and Jesus? Here's another. This is shortly after Trump was banned from Facebook because of January 6th and everything.
We need 100,000 patriots to become reporters for Donald Trump. Get his words out there, since they wanted to be so smart that they wound up being stupid.
Sorry for the low quality. I had to blow it up.
Because they made the same mistake that Satan made when he killed Jesus Christ. By killing that one man and killing his voice, he created a world full of little Christians that echo the message of Christ.
So many comparisons to Jesus, bro.
See? Stupid on the devil's part. The Bible says, had Satan known what was going to happen, he would never have crucified Jesus Christ.
Okay, I don't think the Bible says that Satan crucified Jesus, did it? Miki just rubbing her face all over my microphone.
Because what he did was he started a harvest of Christians that echo the message. He only had one man to deal with. Now he's got a whole population full of us. Same thing they're doing with Trump. Let them crucify him. But we're now the echo, and we're going to put it on every page, every Twitter account, everything we got. Now, because the oversight board didn't rule that we couldn't share Trump content. It's allowed on Facebook, for now anyway. So take advantage of it while we can.
I'm telling you, bro, like, how many comparisons to Jesus does this dude need to give us?
I'm ordaining all of you right now as evangelists of the Trump revival.
The Trump revival. Does it get more on the nose? Check this out. This is after the Epstein stuff came out, Donald Trump starts trying to distract from it by saying that he's going to charge Obama with a crime, with the crime of treason, and have him executed, basically. and Shane Vaughn decides to latch onto it.
If you count from the flood date forward, their judgment was to end after 70 generations.
I guess Mickey decided to leave.
When they would be released back on the earth to once again deprave mankind and turn them into mere beast again. Well, when you do the calculations, the year of their release was the year 2008.
Jehovah's Witnesses did this exact same thing, counting forward all these years and trying to calculate things out. And that's how they landed on 1914, among other years. And 1975 particularly, they had an end times prediction that a lot of people don't actually know about. They failed a prediction in 1975 based off the same math.
They would be released back on the earth to once again deprave mankind and turn them into mere beast again.
So the Nephilim are going to return after 70 generations? Is that what he's saying?
Well, when you do the calculations, the year of their release,
the Nephilim's release,
was the year 2008.
So Obama is a Nephilim?
The very year that Barack Obama arose.
I mean, wasn't he a senator before that?
A man who brought with him not just policy shifts, but spiritual perversion and spiritual inversion.
What are you talking about? Obama was a Christian. What do you mean he brought spiritual perversion with him? What did Obama do that was spiritually perverse?
Turning all right side things upside down. It's almost as if when Barack Obama rose, all the restraints fell off of American society. All of the taboos, all of the restraint, everything just sort of fell off from mankind when these fallen ones were loosed again. So yes, Barack Obama in 2008 was the year that shifted America.
So I guess he believes that Obama is a Nephilim, and all of this being inspired by and pushed by Donald Trump. Trump's efforts to distract from the fact that he's in the Epstein files by attacking Obama has led to a full-blown religious, like I don't know, like a religious reform, changing the way that people view their religious beliefs. That's wild, dude. And then there's this one. This one is from July 10th.
The person that has the power is Donald John Trump. He looked at the file. You trust him, right?
No.
Oh, not anymore?
Never did.
Because he won't go down your favorite rabbit hole? Are we that shallow, America?
It's shallow to think that somebody is lying when they cover up a crime. It's so shallow of you.
You trust Pam Bondi. You trust Dan Bongino. You trust Kash Patel. Let it go.
Right. Who's you? Do you have a mouse in your pocket you're talking to?
Get over it. Move on. Que sera, sera.
Bro is literally, he literally took advantage of children. Okay, that is an unforgivable crime. And listening to Trump's weird little nutcases literally justify taking advantage of children is wild, dude. This is not on my bingo card. I didn't even have this on the bingo card. And I talked about this just like the other day, but here's another one. Azalea Banks, in Donald Trump's defense, sleeping with, I'm using polite words because monetization, with taking advantage of a 14-year-old is really only made a social taboo in the 1990s. My grandmother was born in 1927, had her first child when she was 12. Teen pregnancy only became frowned upon with the rise of Jerry Springer. Literally justifying taking advantage of children. What?
Evil is evil. It's always there.
Evil is evil. It's always there. But not when it's Trump, right?
So, you want transparency? Great. But
no, I don't want transparency. I want the files to be out, and I want those people to go to prison.
But unless you're the district attorney, all you've got is curiosity with a Wi-Fi signal. All right.
No, it's not. We actually have, I don't know why people keep asking, is Trump in the Epstein files? Of course he is. We have the Epstein files. We have a ton of them. Gawker released the flight logs forever ago, years ago, like 10 years ago. Wired purchased marketing data about people who flew to the island. Prince Andrew is all over the Epstein files. Trump is all over the Epstein files. I guess he's not a prince anymore. He had his princehood removed because he was in the Epstein files. All right, here we go. This is Wired.
Even in death, the secrets of Jeffrey Epstein remain tightly guarded. But earlier this year, I spearheaded a Wired investigation that uncovered the data of almost 200 mobile phones belonging to visitors to his infamous pedophile island.
Let me tell you how this works. Mobile phones have a unique identifier. It's called the IMEI, I think. Everybody's has a unique identifier. And when you log into Twitter or Facebook or whatever on your phone, you give it metadata about your phone, like what operating system you're using, what phone model you're using, the IMEI number and stuff like that when you log in. And marketing companies save that information. They tie an email address to an IMEI number, or an email address or a social media account or a first and last name or whatever to the IMEI number. And you can purchase packages of mobile phone data from these marketing companies for a lot of money. And they will tie those IMEI numbers to names and things that they're interested in. So that's what they did. They basically purchased, Wired did, these geolocation like records for certain IMEI numbers, and then purchased the IMEI to person keys. So you can like buy Prince Andrew's cell phone data, basically. That's how they got this info.
Data was so precise, we were able to map the paths of these visitors to within centimeters, including their neighborhoods, buildings of origins, and the paths they took to get to the island.
And I hear you asking, wow, is my phone tracking me like that? Yes, it is. And yes, your name is tied to it. And yes, marketing companies own that data and are selling it to people actively right now.
These digital trails document the numerous trips of wealthy and influential individuals seemingly undeterred by Epstein's status as a convicted sex offender. Wired's analysis of the data is ongoing, and it raises profound questions about privacy and surveillance. This is Epstein Island's secret data on the grid. Red dots on the map represent some of the 11,279 coordinates I obtained. They were left exposed online by a location data broker with ties to the Defense Department called Near Intelligence. Between 2016 and Epstein's final arrest in 2019, Near collected data on more than 200 cell phones that visited the island. We don't know why they did that or which client or prospective client of Near decided to query the data in this way to produce the maps. But the maps you'll see in this video show where visitors to Epstein Island spent most of their time. Let's take a step back.
And you're thinking to yourself, or I certainly was, like, wow, these people, like, this information leaked to the public? We got, like, did somebody hack it? No, we just purchased it. You could just go buy it if you want.
You're wondering, where is Epstein Island anyways? Well, it's here. Little St. James is a private island that is part of the U.S. Virgin Islands, an unincorporated territory of the United States in the Caribbean Sea. Epstein purchased Little St. James in 1998 for $7.95 million. It's about 71 acres, the size of 54 football fields. He made the island his primary residence and soon after began welcoming visitors and throwing infamous parties where he was accused of having groomed, sexually assaulted, and trafficked untold numbers of women and girls. The maps of the data collected by Near, and which we at Wired recreated here, indicate the most visited spots on the island. From the main house here with the pool, to the beaches and the large sundial, it's all on display, including the enigmatic Hilltop Temple site over here, which has been the focal point in speculations about Epstein's mysterious activities on the island. But the tracking of phones wasn't contained to Little St. James. Surveillance continued long after the visitors left. The data reveals the locations of visitors 30 minutes before and after arriving on the island, which shows us the exact routes everyone took to get there. Some landed here, at the Cyril E. King Airport on neighboring St. Thomas Island.
So the point is that we know all of these people. We've had this data for a long time. There's no secret here. Trump is absolutely in the Epstein files. In fact, he's all over them. This is from 8 months ago, by the way. These people want to, for some reason, protect this child abuser and will come up with any ridiculous excuse that they can. It's just sad. Tell me your thoughts. We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Check this out. This is The Good Liars. They're awesome. Interviewing this woman at a Trump rally.
What are your thoughts on some of the immigrants being sent to El Salvador, to those vicious prisons there?
I'm all for it. You're here illegally. You broke the law to get here. You need to go. If you want to come back and didn't commit any crimes while you were here or there, then come back legally.
They literally cannot leave. They are concentration camps designed to never let anyone escape.
Going to those prisons, there is not a way out of those prisons. They're designed so you stay there for life and you can't go outside and you're in a cell with 50 other people. Is that the right punishment for coming into the country illegally?
No, absolutely not.
That is the punishment that they chose.
They did?
Did they? But because they didn't, some of the people came in 10 years ago.
Listen, if I go over a border, I'm going to be in prison.
No, you won't. At absolute worst, you'll be deported. But to another country, to your home country. But more than likely, you'll just have to go through the process of becoming documented or whatever, depending on the country.
Any other border, any other country, that's how it is.
You certainly won't go to a concentration camp that you can't escape for the rest of your life.
So, yes, that's the way it should be.
But a prison that's in another country that is a vicious, basically concentration camp, that's okay?
I don't have a problem with it.
Absolutely disgusting, dude. Absolutely disgusting. Evil and wrong. I mean, these people go to these conferences and these, whatevers all the time and ask hyperbolic questions to see what kind of answers they get. And some of them are wild.
Yeah, I shoot food for a living all around the world.
Did you know that the Nazis were living on Mars?
Yep. Really, I did.
Yeah, okay, because I just heard that right now.
I'm telling you, yeah. The more you know, the more you know.
Wait, so how long have you known this? See, my mind is a little bit blown right now.
Maybe a year. It's more people living off planet than underground and on the surface.
Right.
More people living off planet and underground than on top, she says.
I want to tell my family about this, but I'm afraid they're going to say I'm fucking crazy.
They will. They'll commit you.
They say you can't be saying that stuff. You're ruining Thanksgiving dinner. What I try and tell myself is it's not crazy if it's true.
Well, we're not crazy, right?
No,
we're so not crazy.
There's nothing crazy about saying that Nazis live on Mars.
No.
Those are the good liars. Yeah, here's another one. Check this one out. This is another example of Trump extremists on the Good Liars.
Why'd you decide to come out here to the Trump rally?
Because I don't want that to be president. Simple.
Oh, so funny. Wow, these guys are really yucking it up back there.
Are you talking about Kamala Harris?
Yeah, that Kamala Harris. Well, you an idiot.
And why are you calling her that word?
Because that's exactly what she is. I mean, I'd use the C word, but my mama hates it when I say that. So.
Right.
Wow, see, he's such a respectful guy, huh? So respectful to not say that around his mama. Bless her heart.
And why do you think that?
Because that's exactly what she is. I mean, the proof's in the pudding.
Right.
Where's the pudding? What are you talking about? Why was Kamala Harris so, evil in your head?
What has she done that makes you believe that?
What has she not?
Look, someone says they peaked in high school. I think you're giving them too much credit. I don't think they have ever peaked. It's all been downhill. They peaked at 0.
Believe that.
What has she not done? What has she not done? What has she done? She's done nothing. Her commercials are full bullshit.
So what's the one thing that she hasn't done, or the one thing that she has done that makes you call her that?
Communist. She's a communist.
She's literally not a communist, though.
Pure and simple. We don't need communists. Yeah, she's a Marxist.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she's a Marxist and a communist. Does he have any idea what those words actually mean?
But what's the thing that she's done that makes her a communist?
Everything. From paying bail for the criminals, letting them out early, release.
What is he talking about? Paying bail for criminals and letting them out early?
Criminals, letting them out early, releasing evil people, and she's just evil.
You actually think she's evil?
Yes, I think she's evil.
Okay.
Satan's who she worships.
You think she worships Satan?
I know she worships Satan.
Well, how do you know that?
Because of her actions.
Okay. Yeah, you think she actually worships Satan, Kamala Harris?
I believe she sure does.
Have you seen any evidence that that's true?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, you just don't feel like telling us right now, right?
Just through her actions and her attitude. Yeah, all the illegal immigrants they're letting in this country. Every country in this world has emptied their penitentiaries and sent them over here, and she just letting them right in.
And then that makes you believe she's
just both lies.
She's worshiping Satan?
Yeah, because of all the children that. Oh, I don't
want to talk about it, man. Wow. Jesus Christ. Here's one. Apparently, there's this guy, I believe Neil J. Peterson was running for governor of some state. I don't remember. Illinois or something? Ohio. And he was not endorsed by Donald Trump. Well, this guy tries to get into the MAGA thing, and he was refused at the door because he had this shirt on.
It sounds like you were just turned away from the event. Can you tell us about that?
We went in and they told me that my shirt was not candidate endorsed.
So you showed up to this Trump rally and essentially you got canceled because of the shirt you were wearing.
Simply because of the shirt, nothing but the shirt.
How do you feel about that?
I have a problem with it.
That's actually not that big of a deal or surprising. You go to a Kamala Harris rally wearing a Trump shirt, they're going to make you put on a different shirt. You can throw on, they have shirts there that you can throw on. It's not that surprising, but whatever.
And to me, it's giving into the cancel culture, and I refuse to give into the cancel culture.
Will you vote Trump if he runs in 2024 now?
I will not. I will not. I cannot be a part of cancel culture.
Oh my God, dude, it's so stupid. Cancel culture isn't real, okay? That's called holding people accountable for things, is what that is. The point is that these people just live in a completely different world, man. I'm telling you. And they, unfortunately, some of them live in a world where it is okay to stand in front of a literal concentration camp and say, this is my 0% unemployment plan. We're going to need new Nuremberg trials, in all seriousness. The trials at the end of the war, of World War II, where people were charged with war crimes and sentenced to death in some cases, life in prison in others, and even in some 10 years in prison, they were released. Like I think Albert Speer was released after a while. Schacht, the economic advisor for Nazi Germany, was released after a while. We're going to need Nuremberg trials. People are going to have to face consequences for what they're doing. And I got to tell you the truth. Donald Trump, he's old. Okay? How long do any of us have? 100 years max, right? Unless you're Jimmy Carter. Did he make it past 100? Dude's got one foot in the grave, one on a banana peel at this point. He's been eating McDonald's his entire life, 3 square meals a day, basically. And it's only a matter of time before his clock runs up, just because he eats poorly, if no other reason. And when he goes, there won't be anybody that can command the MAGA movement like him. J.D. Vance can't step in and command the MAGA army like Trump. Don Jr. can't do it. Eric can't. Ivanka certainly can't. There's nobody. There's no replacement. At that point, the Hydra will fall. At that point, all of these people that have participated in this whole thing are going to face consequences. Elon Musk has 40 years to go, give or take. How many does Trump have? You think that when Democrats take power again after Trump kicks it, you think that they're not going to get Elon Musk, investigated at least? You think that there isn't going to be a groundswell of support for investigating Pam Bondi and all of these other scumbags? These people are going to spend the rest of their lives in prison. I would bet money. We'll see. Not only do we have people effectively, they're endorsing concentration camps. I don't know how else to take that. But we have people that are completely Nazi-brained now. It has never been clearer how Germany turned to what it did in the 30s. We are witnessing it unfold in front of our very eyes. This dude gets out of his car, pissed off at somebody.
Your race is going extinct. You ain't got nothing.
Your race is going extinct. Florida man unleashes disturbing rant.
Hey, what's about to happen? Nothing. Hey, nothing. You're going extinct.
No.
Spanish are going extinct.
The Spanish are going extinct. Nobody tell Spain. They're literally at a red light. Dude hops out of his car, runs over to them for the audio audience, and starts banging on their window, yelling this stuff. My God, dude.
Your race is going extinct. The Spanish race is going extinct.
Huh?
You ain't got nothing.
Hey.
Because he then starts lashing out at their vehicle. He's like grabbing their windshield wiper and stuff. And then they start filming his license plate for the audio audience again. Dude sees it. He's standing in front of the car, telling him to run him over, I guess.
No, ahí están bloqueando el hijo de la ver.
They're filming his plate, and he sees that they're doing that, and he steps in front of the plate to pose for it.
Hijo de su puta madre, pinche luz. Anda loco el hijo de la ver.
We have Nazis in this country. We now live in a country where it couldn't possibly be clearer how the rise of Nazis in Germany took place. That is wild, man. All right. Race and ethnicity are usually used interchangeably, but they refer to different concepts. From a biological perspective, race is not biologically real in the way that people once believed. That's the point that I'm trying to make. From a social perspective, race is real, obviously. That's why I'm saying that we have to adhere to whatever, and we have to, the way we discuss it is important. But there is no biological race. When we're talking about biology, we're talking about ethnicity, not race. Modern genetics has shown that there's more genetic variation within so-called racial groups than between the racial groups. And the idea of distinct biological races with clear boundaries is not supported by science. And the concept of race is the foundation for hate and bigotry that's existed for ever. I mean, the higher races have been discussed since time immemorial. It's not a scientific concept. It's an emotional concept. Race is not biologically real. That's my point. Tell me what you think. I said this before. I'm going to say it again. It's time to start hiding people. Okay? Think about, have an honest conversation with your spouse or whatever about whether you can fit somebody in your basement. I'm 100% real. We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's this MAGA sitcom that I wanted to throw back to. I just want to talk about real Trump nutcases today. This MAGA sitcom is called What's a Girl to Do? The woman on the left is Janet Porter. She's the creator of the sitcom or whatever. She's also she's a lawyer who wrote the heartbeat bill. She's the creator of the heartbeat bill, which made it illegal to get an abortion after like 6 weeks or something. Check this out. This is her making a song about Donald Trump to the tune of the YMCA.
Young man, are you trying to pray? I said, young man.
Young man, are you trying to pray?
We're going to take that away. I said, young man. Did you say God's name? That's okay, 'cause it was in vain.
Did you say God's name? That's okay because it was in vain.
Cause we're the ACLU. It's fun to sue when you're the ACLU.
It's fun to sue when you're the ACLU. The hate they have for civil rights organizations absolutely blows me away. They are literally they only exist to protect people's rights and nothing more. In fact, the ACLU even famously defended the KKK's right to march in a town. They are free speech warriors and have been for generations. How can anybody hate the ACLU?
We'll take all your rights. It's what we enjoy.
The ACLU likes taking people's rights?
We'll sue every girl. We'll sue every boy. We're gonna MAGA. What we say we're gonna MAGA.
We're gonna MAGA. We're gonna make America great again. Wow, dude.
We can say Merry Christmas and we can pray. Thanks, President Trump, for MAGA.
God, it's so f***ing stupid, dude. I have entire episodes of this. Okay, here's another one from the same video.
I'm what you call apolitical. That's like being neutered, right? Well, don't tell me you're a Trump fan. I like the guy. Well, I don't like what he said about...
Watch what he's done. Actions are what matter. He's pro-life.
Well,
Who gave you that idea?
that's great, but that's just a single issue.
A single issue?
Yes.
Right, the right to life is a priority issue.
So, this is her boyfriend on the left. Oh my God, dude, this show. This is her boyfriend, and she's trying to convince him to be a MAGA nutcase, and she eventually succeeds. This is on Jim Baker's TV network. It's so bad.
It's a prerequisite issue. It's what makes every other right possible. What good is the best education or free healthcare if you're dead?
She has a point.
No, she doesn't. That's fucking nonsense.
Well, don't you think he...
Yeah, she's a cougar, right? I guess she probably... Yeah, I suppose so, right? He looks like he's maybe 30. And she looks like she's maybe 60, right? 50, 60, somewhere in there? Cougar Town, for sure.
Well, don't you think he brags a bit too much?
I never noticed. He's got a lot to brag about.
He says, I never noticed.
Look, I stay out of politics, all right? I don't even think I'm registered to vote.
To stay out of politics is to let the Marxists control your life, your health, our country.
How is your health affected by my policies in any way? This is complete delusion.
How can you date a guy that doesn't even vote? Look.
Wait, why was that funny? Why is there a laugh track in there?
Look. Trump is for liberty. He's for Israel. He's for the Second Amendment. They want to take your guns.
Who the f*** is they?
I don't have any guns.
How can you date a guy that doesn't even own a gun?
Well, as much as I'm enjoying this lovely little conversation, I'm gonna go.
How can you date a guy that doesn't even want to make America great? I don't know.
God, it's so cringy and awful. Makes you want to, like, vomit, right? This is freaking wild to watch. This is wild to see unfold in front of our eyes. Oh, dude, I have countless episodes of this.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Hey. Oh, she's mad. She said Merry Christmas instead of, or I'm sorry. Oh, she's mad. She said Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas.
Janet, dear, it's really more politically correct to say Happy Holidays.
Who the f says this? I've never in my entire fucking life ever heard anybody say that. It's more politically correct to say Happy Holidays. I say Merry Christmas. I say it all the fucking time. Who cares? Nobody gives a shit if you say Merry Christmas. Literally not one human being on planet Earth.
I'm not very PC. Just think about me. Something you should work on, dear.
Plus, it would make you less offensive in your public appearances.
Well, yeah, it's probably not the best time or place to bring this up, but the term politically correct
Oh, here we go.
was first coined in the former Soviet Union to quash religion and silence dissent.
Oh, God, such bullshit, dude. Oh my God.
Is that so?
Yeah, they actually used it to send people to Gulag.
Oh, please.
Right? This is not the right time or place. If you'll excuse us, we have some people to greet. Sure. Candace, Glenda, care to join us? I have no idea what's pleasing her. Well,
It is fucking awful, dude.
that went well.
It was something.
Fun party. You know, I couldn't keep my big mouth shut. I had to tell his mother that politically correct was a communist term.
No. You did the right thing. I mean, that woman needed to know. And what better time than in front of all of her friends at her own company Christmas party?
Oh, yeah, it was a company Christmas party. I forgot.
That's what I thought.
That was your problem.
What, that she thought? Oh my God, it's so fucking bad.
Ready? Set. Go.
Jack's ugly facial hair. Go team. Say something in Spanish.
Yo tengo ojos bonitos azules.
A place where a dog lives. Obviously.
Pet shit.
Community group you hate.
I don't really hate
Exact.
it. The Homeowners Association.
Who are
communists.
Favorite president besides Trump.
Okay, so they're playing some kind of a party game, and he says something you really hate. I don't hate anything. Oh, I hate the Homeowners Association because it's communist.
Ronald Reagan, he said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Prove socialism doesn't work.
Nobody ran to the east.
And Trump's going to
Make America great again.
Ruin America.
Why is it said that? Because she watches
Fake news.
You getting with
CNN.
whose viewers are
Captive travelers at airports.
something you have to do every day when you lose it.
On my cell phone.
But sometimes.
Not every day.
Sometimes.
Twice a day.
Yes. The man you want to marry.
Jack Lauer.
Yes. Secret crush.
I don't really have
Congressman.
Louis Goldberg.
Opposite
Oh, God.
of the golden rule.
The metric system.
The two people who know you best at the party.
Mom. Lori.
Who knows you the very best?
Jack.
Yes, that's what you know I do, baby.
Dude, these people are just literally all of that was disgusting. She's talking about like old, disgusting people being hot and stuff. Anyway, that was a fun little trip through memory town. You guys want to see more of this? I'll see if I can find more episodes. I think they're on like season 2 now or something. But yeah, tell me what you think in the comments. That's all I've got for you. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, don't forget to check me out on Patreon. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.